Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Running Code, humor in South Texas law enforcement. I'm your host, T-Bone. With me, got my back as always, J-Man, my partner.
What's up?
J-Man, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Starting to look a little swole.
Starting to look lean, and
Yeah, you are looking a little lean.
probably gonna stay that way for a good
There's
while.
some Whataburgers that are missing you,
Oh no, and, no, I don't miss them.
but they miss you. They'll give you that discount.
Yeah,
So I know we've been gone for a while. We've had a lot going on. Again, and I know it's the same excuse every time when it's been a while, but we have had a lot going on.
yep.
It's not that we haven't missed our listeners. We do, but life gets in the way, and we do this for fun. We're not getting paid to do it, so it kind of takes the back seat whenever we get around to it. We get around to it. But we do appreciate the couple of comments we got on the episode about the Constitution. We do appreciate that.
Yep.
I did get an email from a gentleman who said that he had was in the academy.
Oh yeah,
And,
okay, that's good.
And he said that actually was a big help remembering that stuff. So,
Oh,
and
nice.
I sent back an email. So, I wish you the best, brother. Good luck. It's a rewarding career, but you're gonna have good days, bad days. But overall, it really is rewarding. Just don't lose your compassion, your empathy. It's easy to do that sometimes, but
Yeah,
there are good people out there, and you will meet them, and you just meet them on their worst days, and that's just it is what it is. But you don't have to love your agency; just love your job. All right.
Yeah,
and
that's-
if you do
that's
that,
true.
and you show empathy, and compassion, you'll be all right.
right.
But speaking of academies, so today we're going to talk about the process to become a police officer, whether that's municipal police, county, mounty, state police. I ain't going to talk about the feds because I don't know squat about them. I don't want to know anything about the feds. I don't deal with the feds. I don't like the feds, so I don't want to talk about the feds. But by and large, there isn't a whole lot of difference between the states, really, and by and large, in getting hired, academies, field training, rookie year. There really isn't much difference because it's
Yeah.
all pretty much the same thing. All our case law is what defines how we do our job across the United States. So there's really not that big a difference, honestly.
Yep.
Whether it's a blue uniform, a tan uniform, a green uniform, it doesn't matter. They're all pretty much the same because we all run off the same playbook. Every state has different penal codes, but they all have the same laws.
Yeah.
With a few exceptions, like some states we got legalized, but by and large, murder, car theft, aggravated robbery, whatever, all that still pretty much the same. Maybe a different penal code in that state, but it's staying the same laws. That's why cops can and successfully do move to other states, become cops in those states because there ain't much different. A turd's a turd, regardless of where you're at. Nothing changes. The faces may change, but the behaviors don't.
Yeah.
So people will think, "Oh, I don't want to leave my agency and move to another state." Why not? It's the same turds.
Yeah.
You just gotta learn a new city. You gotta learn new people, where they're at, where the bad spots are, the good spots. Where does the drugs come from? Where does the prostitution? Where's the? You just gotta learn that. But
Yep.
if you can be a cop in California, or Florida, or Texas, you can be a cop anywhere.
Anywhere.
It doesn't matter. And there are guys who do big city policing for 20 years and say, you know what, I want to do this job, but I want a little slower pace, so they move up maybe north,
Yeah.
where it's a little smaller town, but they don't have the same call volume, but they take all those street smarts and that street knowledge and that street wisdom, and they take it with them. And they do very well in those little towns because they've seen all the worst of the worst versus guys who started there in this little small town where they get maybe 2 calls a whole shift and don't know how to handle a fatality crash or don't know how to handle a shooting or don't know how to handle an overdose or don't know how to handle an aggravated robbery or an aggravated assault or domestic violence. Actually, that's probably pretty universal. I take that back. There's probably 2 things that are very universal in every town, big and small, across the United States: DWI and domestic violence.
Yeah.
Those 2 things transcend every racial and social economic barrier there is.
Yep.
Drunks and domestic violence.
Yep.
So other than that, you can handle one of those. They're pretty much standard across the United States. But and then of course your mental health disturbances, which that doesn't matter where you're at, you're gonna have that.
Right.
You just won't have it in the same volume. So if you say you go from Dallas to little bitty Whitefish, Montana,
Yeah.
where there's 30,000 people in the entire county.
Yeah. That's true.
That's a itty bitty little place. I mean, you're probably gonna get 5 calls a shift.
Yeah. And it's like that. It
But
is.
to you, that'd be like, man, easy street right there. Like, man, we used to get 5 calls an hour. 5 calls in a whole shift. I'm not worn out. I'm still doing the job I love, but I'm not worn out.
Yeah.
I'm not hating my life. I'm not hating because you, sadly, in this job, do grow to start really detesting people. You can take your rookie cop and standing next to a 30-year cop. The rookie cop still has hope in his eyes and love of humanity and I want to help people. And the 30-year officer is just waiting for retirement because he hates every fucking person he's ever ran into over the last 30 years. They didn't change. He did. And what it was, his fuse got shorter and shorter and shorter. And the stupidity, his tolerance for it got shorter and shorter and shorter. Can't blame him. I mean, some people can't tolerate this job longer than 3 to 5 years and they're gone because they just can't do it. Some people do 30, 32, 33. Hell, we got a couple of them I didn't see there at 38. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, you're past max retirement. Like, get out. What are you waiting here for? But I think they're worried that they have nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Because they made this job their whole life. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about don't make this job your whole life. Do not make this job your whole life. Have hobbies.
Yeah.
Don't care what it is, but have a hobby. And this job should interfere with your hobbies. Mm-hmm. It really should. You should. God, man, I can't go play golf, guys. I got to work. You know. Hell, even just a softball league. Find something. Find an outlet, a healthy outlet, not drugs, not alcohol. Please find a healthy outlet.
Yeah.
Even sex can be healthy, but that doesn't mean 50 different Badge Bunnies. And if you have questions, refer back to our Badge Bunnies episode.
Yeah.
So please don't get yourself caught up there. In fact, I was at the hospital today, and they were everywhere. I'm like, nope. I'm just nope. I'm looking up here because the scrubs will pull you in every time. I'm like, nope. I'm gonna look up here. So. What we're going to talk about is the process. How do you become a cop? What does it take? What do they look for? What do they require? How a personal history statement works? How the polygraph works? Now, not every agency does polygraphs, but a good majority of them do.
Yeah.
Even though it has no validity in criminal court, it can still be used for hiring purposes.
Yeah.
So, do's and don'ts. In our agency, I see it all the time. People coming in as potential recruits. And nobody comes in anymore with a fresh haircut, a fresh shave.
Right. So this is first step number one. So general interest in the department, and before you even put in an application, or whether it be paper or online, going there just to talk to anybody, first impressions matter. Oh, like they'll remember it a lot more than you think they will, and they won't. You show up in there with a busted haircut, going there in your sandals, your chanclas. You know,
shorts
with your surf shorts.
T-shirts with slogans that really aren't professional.
They'll answer whatever question you got.
They will, but they're remembering that.
Yeah, once your application comes in, and if your appearance hasn't changed to more professional from the first time you were just given a general inquiry to like, I'm now going to be a serious applicant, I mean, they're not going to be, if there's a more qualified candidate that they have, or you're equally the same.
If you're equally the same, they're going to take the one who presented better.
They'll pick the one who gave the better presentation first, then you. And some of these departments may only have 2 slots.
Mm-hmm.
2 slots, and there's like maybe 8 people that apply, and you just want to make sure you're the best out of the 8.
Oh, yeah.
So first appearances matter. If you're going to go in there and ask about a ride along, or you're asking for general information, trying to pick up a recruitment flyer, you don't have to wear something that's extreme as a suit, but a nice polo, some good slacks,
some nice slacks, some clean shoes. Have a fresh haircut.
Yep.
We're not even saying you have to shave the beard, but trim your beard, get a haircut, look presentable, because we figure if you dress like that coming in for recruiting, then you're probably going to dress like a dirtbag when we put you in our uniform representing our agency.
Yeah.
So he hit the nail on the head. It drives me nuts because I'm a detective. And we're in the same building as the recruiters. So when I come downstairs all the time, I see the applicants coming in. And I look at them, and I've even questioned a few of them, like, are you trying to get hired here? Oh, yeah. Well, 1, it's yes, sir. We'll start there. But 2, you need to go change. And the fucked up thing is I get complained on for that. They go and cry to the recruiting sergeant. The recruiting sergeant goes, hey, you can't talk to them that way. I said, who says?
So, and I will say to that credit, my generation and younger appearances, right? Like that's like a symbol of the old regime or the old way of thinking. We're more progressive, right? So I should be able to come in with holes in my T-shirt and some surf up shorts.
But there's no pride in appearance anymore,
Yeah.
And it translates into the uniform of our agency.
Yeah.
So if you dress like that when you're coming in for an interview, I assume you're gonna dress like that. And you're gonna look like a bag of shit in the uniform that I wear.
And it actually does show.
And like it shows.
It's more comfortability. They may not show in the first 6 months when this individual is like fresh from FTO and they're on their own the first 6 months or the first year. They're going to be nice and polished, prim and proper. Well, once they pass that probationary period, then the screws start to get undone. And
It's like a relationship. You're on your best behavior for the first 6 months, and then the real you starts sliding through.
yeah,
So let's talk about it now. Let's go through the A to the Z, right? The alpha
Yep.
to the omega, the beginning to the end.
so the first step was just initial.
The initial,
Appearance.
okay, what do you want to be? You want to be municipal? Do you want to be county? Do you want to be state? Let's talk about the differences real quick.
Yeah,
Because some people still don't know. I heard it the other day that they didn't know. They thought every deputy was a sheriff. I said, no, man, there's only one sheriff per county. And everybody else is his deputy or her deputy. There's only one sheriff. And she's like, oh, really? Yeah, we're deputies. Well, your patch says sheriff. Because we work for him.
Yeah.
She didn't understand how that worked. And I tried to explain it. She didn't want to hear it. I'm like, don't you want to know how your local government works? She goes, no, not really. Okay. Hey, you want to live in ignorance? That's fine. But so you want to pick an agency, right? So what are the differences? Let's start with municipal.
Okay. So
Okay. Every county has usually a county seat. That's be the biggest city in that county. That's your county seat usually. That's going to be your biggest municipal agency, aside from maybe some of these small West Texas counties where they don't really have a city police agency. They got a constable and a sheriff, maybe a deputy or two, and then a state cop who's assigned to that county, right? But then you get Dallas, Fort Worth, El Paso, Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Amarillo. They're going to have large municipal police departments on top of maybe smaller municipal departments inside that county and city, and then you're going to have the sheriff's office.
Yep.
And then you're going to have your constables. So we'll talk about constables too.
Yep, 'cause
we
they're
don't
a
leave
part
them
of it.
out because
They're
they
a
are
part of
cops.
it. Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have maybe school police. You're going to have airport police, maybe park police, transit police. So you got to pick, what do you want to do? What does he want to do? Let's say you just retired out of the military. Let's say, and I've seen this one. This is just a hypothetical, right? You're 37. You came at 17, you retired at 37. You got 20 years in the military. You got 100% VA, and you got your 50% retirement as a master sergeant or something. Okay, you're not doing too bad money wise, but you're bored. But you don't want to work too hard, and I don't blame you.
Right.
So, but you're going, man, I want to go back to school. Be a university cop.
Yeah.
Your tuition will be paid for, and you're still a police officer, and it still happens on campuses. You won't have it to the same volume as the municipal police department or the sheriff's office, but you're going to have crap, but your college is paid for.
Yeah.
And you're still a cop. And
Yep.
you'll get your bachelor's all the way to a PhD paid for because you work for that agency. And some universities, your kids can go for free because you are a employee there. So, okay, that's an avenue. Or you want to be a school cop, a school resource officer, SRO. I personally couldn't do that. I can't deal with juveniles now. I just can't do it, and I hate it anytime I have to. But that is an option. If you're really good with kids and you're very personable, but you're willing to kill to protect those kids, be a school cop. Think Uvalde. Be ready to kill to protect those children, and be willing to die to protect them.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a school cop, you think it ain't going to happen to me. Well, those guys in Uvalde probably thought the same thing. It ain't going to happen to me. Well, it did, and none of them were ready.
Yep.
In fact, Border Patrol BORTAC had to come in and take care of it. Is truly embarrassing.
Yeah.
So, and then, or you say, I want to be a transit cop, or I want to be airport police, or I want to be park police. And there's nothing wrong with any of these jobs at all. Like, there isn't. I don't, we rib each other, but in the end, we're all peace officers. We're all cops. And if one tones out, we're all going to come running regardless of agency. One, because we want to get in the action, and get in the fight. But two, we would want the same courtesy. If I'm in trouble fighting, I don't care. Any agency, the nearest cop to me, please come help me.
Right.
So that's the kind of courtesy it's kind of a survival mechanism. Like, I rush to you, next time you rush to me.
Yeah.
So let's say you settle on an agency. All right, you say, I want to be city. I want to be Austin Police Department. Okay, if you like yoga and vegans, go be Austin PD. But you still have to apply. So you're going to apply.
Right.
And you're going to fill out their little questionnaire that asks your name, your social, your date of birth, your address, maybe your previous 3 addresses, however they do it, your previous phone numbers, whatever. You're going to turn that in. They're going to run a background check. It's the surface one. It's just to make sure you're not a felon. You're not wanted. You don't have any warrants. You'd be surprised when people come in to apply to law enforcement that have felony warrants. And we'll get to what's on their phones. Mind-blowing. because we will go through your phone. Just so you know, we are going to go through your phone. And if you don't let us go through your phone, we're not hiring you. Have a nice day.
And
Be ready for that. And if you tell us you don't have a phone, we know you're full of shit right off the rip.
And a disclaimer on that: this is mostly going to be your major metropolitan departments. Your smaller ones may or may not want to go through your phone, but they may have a social media policy. So
Yeah.
definitely clean up your social media as far as.
I would shut it down. Honestly, I would just shut it down. It's going to cause you more problems than it's worth because we are going to go through your social media. We have access to systems that tell us what social media is you have. We're going to find out all your emails, punch them all in, and it's going to give us every single social from Tinder to TikTok to Instagram to Snapchat. You name it, it's going to tell us you got it. And if you lied about that on your personal history statement, it's called a PHS, a personal history statement. It can be anywhere from that thick to that thick.
Yeah.
Like state police is that thick. I know because I filled the damn thing out. It's like that thick. And if you lie on that, that's grounds right there for not hiring you.
Yeah.
Now, as a disclaimer, we will not tell you why we didn't hire you. We won't tell you. We'll just call you and say, I'm sorry, you weren't. We didn't take you. Have a nice day. We're not going to tell you. There's a very good reason we're not going to tell you. I'm not going to say why right now either. Why we don't will tell you. I'm just telling you we're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
And that's a good policy. So you did that, and then they call you and say, hey, are you still interested? Because they're always going to call and ask, are you still interested? They're not just going to assume you're still interested. Because you may have put one in for 10 agencies around you.
Yeah.
And before they waste their time, oh no, I went to Travis County Sheriff instead.
Yeah.
Okay, fine, fair enough. You know, if you change your mind, give us a holler. It is what it is. They're not going to get pissed about it because there's 500 guys behind you, and it's all about numbers with recruiters. Because recruiters, investigators all share the same office. Recruiters bring them in. The investigators do the files, put them all together for a chief or a sheriff to eventually sign off, yay or nay.
Right.
And then, hey, you're hired. Congratulations. Here's your letter of your letter of intent, your hiring intent. So let's say, hey, you're going to have to do a PT test. You're going to have to do a written exam. And this is general. Some agencies may not require a PT test. Some agencies may. But generally, they're getting to the point where they all do.
Yeah.
So they'll be like, and usually it's going to be in this order. Usually, but it can change. Before they start wasting time on you, come in and do a PT test. If you can't pass that, they're not going to bother wasting their time going any further because it's a waste of their time. They got 50 other applicants that each one has to go through. If they can just start putting people at the bottom of the pile, they will. The way our agency does it is you do the PT test and the written test in the same day.
Yeah.
You come in, you do your PT, you pass that, you go inside, you sit down, you do the written exam, and then we score it right then and there. I have helped out and I've assisted with that when they've had nights where someone couldn't make it and they'd say, you mind helping? Yeah, sure, why not? I'll go help. And I'll talk to them. Hey, we need y'all, but we need y'all to do it right. You know, I give my little speech and my little spiel, and usually I get told I'm a crowd favorite. I don't know why, because I'm a prick, but apparently I'm a crowd favorite. Maybe it's because I don't talk like the recruiters. I give them the real shit. I don't talk to them like the recruiters, but they have a job to do, and I get why. I tell them the real shit. This is what you're about to see, And then let's say you passed, okay, the mini background, which is just that initial, you're not a wanted felon and shit like that. You passed PT, you passed the written. Okay. You made it through the first 3 hurdles. There are several more hurdles to go depending on the agency, but usually it's going to be, this is the next hurdle. Your personal history statement, mental health, you're going to see a doctor, and then you're going to go to a board. And that's pretty much those 6, for the most part, steps.
Yeah.
Right?
They're pretty.
Polygraph. Forgot
universal.
about polygraph. I forgot about the polygraph. So then they go, hey, here's your personal history statement. That is your whole life. And some say only go back 10 years. Some say go back your whole life. I know our agency, it's go back your whole life. State police, DPS, go back your entire life, like period, to the day you were born, like what doctor birthed you,
Yeah.
And they're serious about it. They want to know. Bring in original your birth certificate, your original social security card. You should already brought your license. Usually you have to bring your license and social security card the first time to make sure that you are
Who you say you are.
you are who you say you are. You're eligible to work in the United States. You're a U.S. citizen, unless you're California, which now allows illegal immigrants to become cops in California. Did you
Apparently,
know that?
Texas does that too, but only with verified military service.
Yeah, and that I agree with. If you served your country, you earned it.
Yeah.
If you served this country, then you earned your citizenship. I don't know why that's an issue. If you do 4 years in the Army, in my mind, you're a citizen. But that's a whole different story.
I didn't know.
I went on that
I didn't know
rant.
California.
I went on that rant last time.
I didn't know California was straight up like just
they're hiring-
undocumented.
Undocumented to become. I'm like, how are you doing a background check? How the hell are you doing a background check? Because it's not like Mexico actually is going to cooperate with that. Neither is Venezuela, Colombia, Argentina, Chile, Brazil. They're not going to cooperate with that crap.
Especially Venezuela. I think.
Especially Venezuela.
They're probably an enemy right now.
And they're not.
Foreign
Yeah,
enemy.
we're not favorites of Venezuela right now. But you can have your Tres de Agua guys back, or Tren de Agua, or whatever the hell, or TDA. So you fill out you get a personal history statement. Now, most agencies, in fact, I've yet to see one that doesn't want it this way. They all want it usually handwritten out.
And it
That
sucks.
is your handwriting sample. I'm going to give you a pro tip. Hear me. Make copies of the blank personal history statement they give you. Make like 3. Trust me on this one, because if you burn a page screwing up, they do not want you scribbling anything out. They'll tell you, do
yeah,
not
no.
lie into anything.
No whiteout.
So get 3 blank copies, and if you screw up, you have a fresh page right here. Just redo the page, and that when you turn it in, it's all uniform and it's all pretty. Use the same pen for the whole fucking PHS. Don't use blue on this page, black on this page.
Don't use pencil.
Yeah, don't use pencil.
Don't use pencil.
Don't use, for the love of God, don't use pencil. It's
They don't
pen.
want to see a bunch of erasers.
Some will say blue ink, some will say black ink. There are some agencies that want blue ink, some will say they want black ink, and I'll tell you why the reason was blue ink. The blue is they can tell what the original is.
Yeah.
That's why. And that's why I use blue ink at work, because I know what the original. When I sign a warrant, this is the original, not the copy, because I didn't use a black pen, I used a blue pen. That's
Right.
how I can tell. So when they tell you bring in college transcripts, high school diploma, these are all originals. They don't want copies. They want originals. When you bring in high school or college credits, they want them sealed from that university. So you're going to have to do this. You need to start thinking of that now. If you're thinking about joining the law enforcement, you need to think about that now. You need to get several sealed copies of your college transcripts, because once we take them and open them, they're no longer valid for anybody else.
And even if you didn't graduate, that's fine. Some agencies may say 45 credits. Obviously, that's not.
Some are 15.
Some are 15, 45. Some college, even if the grades are not good, some people are not meant to go to college. Some people are just
And we know
not
that.
good at school.
Yeah.
And just academics, period. You're more hands-on, and nothing's wrong with that. But don't let that be a discourager. Oh, okay, I did my first couple semesters at school, first 18 credits, and I got some C's. Some C's, maybe a B, some D's. I was unsure. Trust me, the department wants to see maturity. They want to see clear thinking, someone
Yes.
professional who can do the job. That's going to matter. Can you learn the state penal code? There's going to be a lot of tests to do that too. And as long as you can apply yourself, learn that knowledge, it'll be fine. So don't let the college credits be a disclaimer. Be a discourager.
And if you're in the service, they may even waive the college credits entirely if you were in the service. If you
Yep.
have an honorable discharge from any branch of the United States military, they may waive it.
Yep.
What they're looking for is balls, brains, and the ability to use your brain first, mouth second, and fist last.
Yeah.
And we've talked about before the violence, use of force matrix. Well, try to use this first. Your greatest weapon can be your brain and your mouth.
Yeah.
Those can be truly your greatest weapons. Because if you want to fight, don't worry, it's coming. Don't push for it. It's a coming.
Yeah.
So you did your PHS. You turned it in with all the originals. They look through all that. They start calling friends, family. They do a home visit. They'll do what's called a smart check. Is it called a smart check with CPS? Impact. It's called an impact check with CPS. They'll call CPS. Has this person ever had a claim for child abuse put against them? Anything like that, adult or child? And nope. So they have the checklist. They sign off and they go through. Okay, now felony's not wanted. If you have a city ticket or a county ticket warrant, you're not gonna take it. Flat out, they're done. They're
Be honest about it. If
Be
you're
honest.
honest and upfront about it, if it's
I'm talking about
They
if you
give
have. I'm talking about if you have an active warrant.
Oh, like
an
outstanding
active city.
tickets?
No.
Oh, yeah, no,
They won't.
yeah.
They'll tell you, nope. Clear
No,
that,
don't.
then come back talk to
Yeah.
us. If your license is expired, nope.
Oh,
Revoked.
yeah, that's
nope.
true.
Because you're going to drive police vehicles.
you can't drive.
You can't drive. So
You
to be
gotta-
a cop in this state, and I think every state, you have to have a valid
Driver's
license.
yeah.
Now, it may not necessarily have to be from this state, but state law does say if you move to Texas, you have 90 days to get a Texas driver's license. So if you lived here for a year and a half and you still have a Montana license, there's going to be some questions there.
If you have no insurance, they definitely not
No,
going to
they'll run, because they're going to run every car you ever own. They're going to run the plates and they're going to run their insurance to a system called ISO. And they're going to see if you have insurance. And if you don't, hey, you're driving without insurance, nah, have a nice day. You're supposed to be enforcing the law. How the hell can you enforce it if you're breaking it? And that's how they look at it.
And,
So it's,
and that basically shows like just general responsibility.
yeah, if you can't change the address on your license within 30 days of moving, it's required by state law. We don't want you. Not having, you have to have a license, period. I was just gonna say, you have to have a license.
Yeah.
If you don't have insurance, you don't show responsibility. If your car doesn't have, or your front license plate is required by state law, it just shows you can't take care of the little things. You're not going to take care of the big things.
Yeah.
Period. Whether you like it or not, you're not going to. Being on time. If they tell you be here at 10 o'clock, you should be there 9:45. It's
9:30.
that simple.
Play it safe.
Play it safe. There ain't nothing.
9:20.
Hey, with the way traffic is in this county, you better leave way early. Because I tell you right now, on time is late and early is on time, and it's that simple. And if you show up on time at 10 o'clock, waiting, because when you go to the academy, class may start at 8, but you already ass had better been there in ready to go by 7:45 in your seat, ready to go, not walking in the door at 8 when the instructor's standing there looking at you. Because when I was an instructor, that would piss me off.
And
Class may start at 8. I want your ass in the seats though, because when I 8 o'clock, I'm gonna start talking. You walk in the middle of me talking, I'm getting pissed.
And the whole class is probably going to pay for what you did.
Yeah, probably. We do believe in group punishment in the academy setting. We're going to get to the academy. All right, so you passed your personal history. You passed your background. They're going to tell you to bring your phone in. They're going to make you unlock it and give it to them. This is not a search warrant. It's an it's a pre-employment processing. Mm-hmm. If you are not willing to let them go through your phone, they will tell you, "Thank you very much. You have a nice day." And that will be the end. They will not bother. And you'd be surprised how many cadet applicants come in with child pornography on their phone, other illegal shit, drugs. It's like, and I don't know how many times as a detective I would get called to come downstairs because an applicant, when they looked at their phone, found child pornography. I'm like, oh, great. Thanks a lot. And you're trying to come work here? I got a problem. Yeah, you do. But not the one you're thinking of. You got a much bigger problem now. And then we get people that tell us they don't have a cell phone. I'm like, really? You're 23, you don't have a cell phone? I don't believe you. Yeah, you're full of shit. There ain't a 23 on this planet. Maybe outside of the Amish or a Mennonite community that don't have a cell phone. That's pure bullshit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you try that route, they're just going to say, no, have a nice day. They already know you're full of crap. Or all of a sudden you bring in a phone brand new that's perfectly wiped. It's like, no, we're not going to take the risk. We're just not going to take the risk. You're racing something for a reason. We ain't worried about your nudies. We don't care about your nudies. We don't give a shit about you. We don't care about your dick. We don't care. What we do care about is child pornography. So if we do see a woman, we may ask, who's this? That's my wife. Okay, whatever. Next picture. We don't care. We just want to be sure it's not a child. That's all we care about. Don't be a child. Don't be something illegal. That's all we care about.
Yep.
But I swear to God, once a month we get an applicant that has child pornography on their phone. And it's just like, are you serious? I got to go downstairs, stop what I'm doing, and go down and deal with it. And then I got to call sex crimes. And if it's a child, I got to call child safe. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to deal with that bullshit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I get a little agitated about that. But let's say you passed all that. All right, so let's see. Let's review. You passed the initial background, PT, the written test, the PHS. Those really are your biggest hurdles, honestly. If you pass those, you're probably on the downhill slide to getting hired.
Yeah. I would say the last kind of hurdle is going to be your psychological exam and
the polygraph and the polygraph.
And the polygraph.
The polygraph is what freaks people out just because of the misconceptions about the polygraph.
That's probably going to be the second biggest hurdle. The first one, and then the psych is the second. Polygraph is, most agencies may have you do a second questionnaire, and that's going to ask you the same questions on the personal history.
But that one goes to the polygrapher.
Right, and that one goes.
So they're going to use that for baseline.
Right, and that'll go to the examiner, and they'll look at it, and if anything differs from the questionnaire on the polygraph, from your PHS, you might as well consider yourself disqualified from the process.
You may have a problem.
It should match because you're putting the same information there.
What is it? What do we say? The truth never changes.
Yes.
Lies will always change.
So if you think you're like, okay, I'm gonna sell short the PHS, but oh crap, they got a polygraph. I better put this in there because I'm afraid it'll come out. Oh yeah, it'll come out, and then once the chief or whoever takes a final look
answers
at the damn file, oh well, he put here that he didn't use any marijuana at all, but to the polygraph examiner, he admitted a few times he used marijuana for consecutive months. Blah blah blah.
Now, do we care that you used weed at some point in your life? No, that's not the point. The point is you lied.
You lied about it.
That's the point. And lying.
Your file will go directly in the shredder.
Do not hire. It will be a DNH file. Do not hire. And that will be the end, and you will not be allowed back. End of story. That will be the end.
Shred City.
You will be on a spreadsheet of a do not hire list. So they just punch the name in and go, nope.
Yep.
Nope. It'll be in red. I've seen the file. I've seen them in Excel. I've seen their spreadsheets down there, and they have them. And they have a red column. That's a do not hire. For whatever reason, do not hire. So if you ever come back in like a couple years later, the first thing they do is they run that name in that spreadsheet, and if it comes up in the red column, nope. Yep. They just don't even bother. They might not even call you either. Just like, nope, moving on. Because you were told last time you were disqualified forever. So why are you wasting our time?
Yeah.
So The psych is really not that bad. It's some agencies do. I think it's called the MMPRI or MPRI. It's like
And
it's like
that's
a
if you don't like long tests,
550 questions.
yeah, just go ahead and do yourself.
It's
a
the
favor
same
and
10
don't do
questions
it.
phrased 55 different ways. That's what it is.
Do yourself a favor. If an agency you're looking at has a psych exam that involves like the MMPI, apply to a different department that's smaller that doesn't have it.
Some don't.
Some
Some
don't.
really don't. Some don't have the money to
But-
pay for it because it's usually done by an outside resource. They hire a company to do it for you. They don't have the money.
I promise you, your bigger departments where the units are, where the units for you to like kind of expand and grow, and where the money is generally going to be at, is going to be at your large departments. And they want to put a product out there that is mentally stable, financially stable, and emotionally stable to some degree. And they can't just put a whatever product out there.
You know what? I'm glad you mentioned financial. Let's talk about finances for a minute. Yes, that's a factor because every agency that I ever applied to asked for your credit report.
Oh yeah.
And they tell you the agency they want your credit report from. It has to be sealed when you hand it to them. If it's unsealed, they're going to tell you go back and get another one.
It can't be Credit Karma.
Yeah,
Some
they don't-
places
yeah.
may take that, but
They-
most
no,
places will not
agencies
take
won't.
Credit Karma.
They want like Sarma. Usually, it's like a company called Sarma, where
Or-
you fill out the pre-employment. They know exactly what they're looking for.
or directly from Experience,
Yeah.
like TransUnion,
Maybe
or
directly,
Equifax, like
all three.
directly from.
Here's why that's important. You're probably going, why the hell does that matter? Because as a cop, you're going to be on crime scenes with money. You're going to search cars and find money. If there's 500,000 in that drug house when you hit it, there better be $500,000 going into evidence, not
Yep.
250.
And they will check your financials.
And they will check your financials. They absolutely, especially for narcotics, they will absolutely, and they'll do it randomly, and they will do it. And you have to sign a piece of paper saying you understand they're going to do that. And so there's no bitching later when they go, hey, there was a $200,000 deposit, and that, funnily enough, that drug dealer was saying he was missing $200,000.
or
You're going to be the first one they're going to be talking to.
Or you put down like who, because they ask for your bank information, who your banker is. You put down the one bank, but then let's say they're doing the deep dive during the background, and they find a secondary account that you never mentioned, and they see some kind of whether we get large deposit transfers. The fact is that you omitted it and you lied about it. So it could be something completely innocent, but it's like you did not
You
tell
didn't put
your
it
background
down.
investigator.
Yep.
So it looks like
You're trying to hide
are willing to
something.
blur a line with money. And like you said, as law enforcement, I think the most cash I've ever came across on an AP was 30 grand. And that all had to be inventoried.
And it sucks counting it.
And
Holy
if you
shit.
don't think that an officer who is hard up on money issues will not peel a couple of bills off because of the large amount and thinking that the person that you're dealing with, the AP,
He didn't know how much he
they
had?
don't know how much they had.
He knew how much they
Think
had.
again.
They know exactly how much they
Think
have.
again.
So I hit a bust. It was 180 grand. It was money laundering, but I had to count that shit. And the way I did it was I had it on my camera, fellow officer's camera. I counted in front of their camera, wrote down what I had, and then I made her count it while I sat there on my camera, and she came up with the same exact count, and we dropped the evidence bag and sealed that bitch right there on camera because there was no way in hell I was getting fired over money. Like, oh, fuck you. And with the camera on, I dumped that shit in the sealed box that I have no access to. Whoop! I have no access to that box. It was counted by 2 officers on 2 cameras. I don't want to hear one fucking word. And you know what? I never heard a word. And I've busted 50,000, 100,000, 180,000. I've never ever been accused of money coming up missing.
If you like, and that's a big thing. So if an applicant comes across poor credit history, or it's like riddled with debts, maybe some foreclosures, some repos, all you're showing is that you're fiscally irresponsible.
They're not saying you're a bad person. They're not saying they'll never hire you. They may, hey, take a couple years, kind of fix some of this stuff, and then come on back talk to us. If that's the only problem that you got, they're not going to tell you that's automatic forever disqualified. They may say,
Right.
hey, get this fixed, okay?
They just want to see an individual who
Yeah.
knows how to
Handle
be
money.
great with finances
Yep.
and who wouldn't be tempted
Because the
to steal
temptation's
money
there.
from if they become in the presence of large money amounts from some of these
yeah.
calls that they take. That's really all. It's just precautions.
That's all it is. It's just protecting the image of our agency because the last thing we want to be stained with is a thief
Yeah.
and a liar. We don't want to be stained with that. And if you think criminals don't hide cameras in their house to watch you when you're raiding their house, think again.
Oh, yeah.
That's how they busted a bunch of cops in our brother agency. They busted like 10 of them. He was watching, and they did it right on camera.
Or the ones recently, the deputy constables. I probably remember the agency's name, but I won't do it. the deputy constables that were stealing on body camera during an eviction.
Oh, I know.
On
I was
a
like,
possession,
are you
they're
serious?
just taking items. It's just on their own body camera. So it's just
They just don't care. That's flat out at that point. Don't give a shit. All right, so you passed. So there's the three things in the military. When I did my polygraphs in the military, because they look for three things, right? Booze, bucks, and broads, and at least the fourth B, blackmail. Mm-hmm. If you can be compromised because of women or men, money, or alcohol and drugs, you can be blackmailed. We sure as hell don't want you, and that goes in the military. It goes for law enforcement. So if you're compromisable, we don't want you. Mm-hmm. That's why don't be led around by your dick. Don't be led around by your wallet. Don't be led around by alcohol or drugs, because if you can be, we don't want you, because it's only a matter of time at that point. That's how we look at it. It may never happen to you. You may be that guy that can control yourself. We're going to assume, though, you can't, and we're not going to risk it. We're not going to put you in our uniform and pay you and pray to God you don't put us on the damn news because you did something stupid.
Yeah.
So that's how we have to look at it. We have to protect us and the citizens. We don't want you stealing from a citizen. We don't want you assaulting a citizen. Mm-hmm. So we got to protect citizens and ourselves first. Sorry, that sounds selfish. Oh, well, it is selfish, and you're damn right it is, and it should be.
Yeah.
So you passed mental health, right? You did the MMPI. The doctor says, yeah, he's got a couple screws loose. Mostly he's fine. And then you do a physical. The doctor wants to make sure you don't have any physical injuries that are going to keep you from doing the job. That you can't jump a fence, that you can't run more than 100 yards. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. You're going to be chasing people on foot and jumping fences. You need to be in some kind of shape. Now, I know you say that laughing, looking at me going, well, T-Bone, what about all the fat-ass cops we see? Those ain't rookies, okay? Those are guys that have been around probably 25 years, and they just don't care anymore. Hey, rookie, go chase that guy.
And their agency probably doesn't have, like, a PT test every year. Some agencies do. They'll pay you to work out on
Texas
duty.
DPS does.
And they want you to do a actual PT test, and then they will put you on probation if you fail it.
And if you fail it, I think state police. And if anybody listening that's state, Texas DPS, make sure, if I have this wrong, please email us at runnincode2023@gmail.com. That's RUNNINCODE2023@gmail.com. And let me know if I got this wrong. I was told that DPS you have to have an annual PT test. It's mandatory. It's not like something you can get out of. You have to do it. You fail it the first time, you get a time period. You fail it the second time, you get one more time period. You fail it the third time, seek employment elsewhere. So if there's a trooper listening, a DPS, whether you're Ranger, CID, or regular roadie, please just shoot us an email, because I really want to know. I'm kind of curious because I've heard that rumor. I think it's great.
You got to be in shape for this job.
Yeah, you got to be in shape, not round, which is a shape. You got to be in decent shape. I'm not saying you have to have a six-pack. Nobody's saying that. But you need to be able to have some kind of stamina. If you look like a bag of shit, if you look like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, no one's going to respect you, no one's going to listen to you. And no one's going to take you serious, and they're damn sure going to run from you because they're pretty sure you ain't going to be able to catch me. I'm gone.
Yep.
If you look fit, to a degree, I'm not saying you have to be built, but if you look fit, confident, uniform's clean haircut, whatever, you look confident, that actually chills a lot of people out quicker than anything else, because like, this guy will fight me, or he will catch me if I run. And if I run, he's going to hurt me.
Yeah.
So that actually helps. So let's say you passed all that. And the polygraph, really, it's not that bad. We talked about the polygraph. I'm not going to beat it to death. Let's say you passed it all. Some agencies have a final board. Some just don't. Some just don't have the time for it. Others are like, okay, yeah, we're going to have a board. You're going to sit in front of 3 or 4 officers, maybe just be senior officers. Could be a sergeant, maybe a lieutenant, maybe a captain, maybe a chief. Could be the sheriff of the agency. It depends on how small it is. If you go to a really small agency, it's probably going to be the sheriff or the chief. But if it's a large metropolitan agency, you're not going to see the chief of police or the sheriff of that county. You're just not going to. You're going to see probably maybe the chief of LE and maybe the captain of recruiting and maybe a patrol sergeant, because they order them, hey, come down here today, you're going to do these boards. And it's like, I don't want to come do that shit. And they're going to ask you questions. Bear in mind something here. If you've never been a cop, we know that. When we ask you these questions, we're not expecting a law enforcement answer because you're not a cop. We want to know, though, what your mindset is. There's really no wrong answer. Well, no, that's not true. There's wrong answers. I would shoot him in the head. Yeah, don't. That's the wrong answer. Okay, doesn't necessarily mean we won't hire you, but we're definitely going to tell the instructors of the academy, you might want to work with this guy. But we want to see what your mindset is. So we're going to ask you scenario-based questions, and we want to just see what's your initial thought. We'll train you. That's our job at the academy. We'll train you. We just want to see what you're thinking, what your mindset is. They sign you off. Within a couple weeks, you're probably going to get your letter of intent. Your congratulations, welcome to your agency. Your academy this day, you need to go to whatever clothing distributor there is and get your uniforms, and you have a gun belt. And some agencies give you everything. Some agencies give you nothing.
and some may give you a few pieces here and there.
Yeah,
But you might have to fork over some money.
you might have to
for
fork
stuff.
over some money. So like
So be prepared to spend some money. I'm just
Texas
saying.
DPS pays for everything except your boots.
Yeah.
They provide your uniforms, gun belts, equipment, everything except your boots. That's the only thing they won't pay for is your boots.
Smaller municipalities
They're
may
proud-
provide you a firearm, but you got to supply your own duty,
Duty
belt,
belt.
and they may give you one free uniform.
And they may give you one free uniform and tell
Yeah.
you, well, you're gonna have to buy your
gotta
own.
buy
Let me
the
tell you
rest of them
something.
on your own.
Uniforms ain't cheap.
Hell no.
And a full
People-
set, top and bottom, with patches, is usually about $180, right around there for one set. And to do this job, you need 5 or 6.
And a duty belt? Let's not even get started.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the
so-
asp, the holster
The Aspen holster,
are probably the most expensive
handcuff
things.
holsters.
Yeah, they're probably the most expensive things you'll have in that duty belt. And what a running price for a good asp is like 165,
Yeah.
150.
I have the Talon Auto Lock. That's a very expensive.
Then the sidearm, depending on like whatever your brand is, like Safari or Blackhawk, whatever, probably close to 200,
So
maybe 250.
if you buy cheap, that is what you will get, and it will fail you at the worst possible time. So yes, you kind of have to invest in yourself in this job.
Mm-hmm.
Some agencies only allow certain kinds of belts.
Yep.
Like some agencies don't allow basket weave. Like no, hell no. Or some agencies don't allow patent leather, that real high glossy stuff. Like no. Some agencies say that everything has to match. So you can't have like a basket weave holster and a patent gloss handcuff case, but a matte black leather belt. You can't. They want you to. You need to look uniform. I'm not saying it has to be all the same brand,
Right.
but you can get all matte black or all glossy or all basket weave. Like let's look uniform here.
Yeah.
They usually will issue a vest though, and usually that's because they're paid. They get a grant for that from the feds or the state, and they'll give you a vest. That's any agency that will not give you a vest, you probably shouldn't work for.
And there are some out there.
And there's a few like, well, we don't have any, so see if you can find an old vest. Really?
And I want to say no knock to them, but a lot of it is just the bosses don't want to kind of like piss off city council asking for money, because city council will, what for? The guy needs a vest? Wait until the next budget period. And
Yeah.
that's because they don't have a lot of things happen in that town or municipality.
Until it happens,
So
and
it's
then all of a
extreme-
sudden,
yeah.
everybody will have a vest the very next day. The city council will dump $20,000 for vests for that little agency of 25 people, and everyone's gonna have a vest. It's amazing how that fucking
And
happens.
we'll probably touch on that towards the end as far as like maybe some do's and don'ts, or maybe some non-negotiables you should have for the department that you want to apply for, because the department should do for you as much as you're going to do for them.
Should and sounds good.
Yeah.
Some do, some don't.
Right.
Again, I'm not a trooper, but Texas DPS really does take care of their people. They really do. They have a great budget. They provide all your equipment, and they let you do your job. I'm kind of jealous. I just didn't feel like going to that 7-month-long Marine Corps boot camp, and they get moved to bumfuck Texas. I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to be the only cop for 300 square fucking miles. No, thank you. I don't mind working by myself, but I would like to have backup less than 5 hours away. So, but that's why troopers get trained the way they do, because sometimes they really are by themselves for a long time, and they want handle it.
Yeah.
Handle the problem. You're like, there's a ton of them. You got rounds, don't you? You got ammo, don't you? But that's why the whole one ranger, one riot kind of thing. Handle the problem.
Right.
You ain't always gonna have backup. Our agency is huge, and it's a massive county we work in. Backup may be 20 minutes away, coming to you at 100 miles an hour light sirens, and still be 20 minutes away. Handle the problem.
Yep.
Most municipal police departments have backup within 2 to 3 minutes. You're gonna have backup for the most part.
Yep.
Us, it could be 20 minutes.
And that's an actual thing to consider. Not saying that law enforcement is not for you, but that particular agency, as far as, because let's just get it, like a lot of sheriff's departments, sheriff's offices, or constables' offices, because some constables here in Texas do answer calls for service. They're not just strictly civil. If you're uncomfortable having to wait 20, 15 minutes for backup, you arresting an AP on your own without backup, or maybe doing SFSTs without a cover officer, do not apply to those agencies. Apply to a municipal police department.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not to say that you're scary or you're scary or you can't do the job. But if that's how you really feel, you're not. Why would you purposely put yourself in a situation like that when there's other options available?
Know your limits and know your abilities.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I tell people that halfway through the academy, so I don't think this is for me. You know what? I respect that. You realize that now before you put yourself or someone else in danger. I can respect that all day long. Ain't nothing wrong with that, brother. I wish you the best. You need a reference, you give me a call. I got you. I'll be your reference. This job ain't for everybody, and we know that, and that's okay. This job is not for everybody. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. know your limits, know your abilities, and that's it.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable without backup for long periods of time. It doesn't bother me. But I also know when not to stick my nose in the buzzsaw too. Like, ooh, I think I will wait.
Yeah.
Okay, if I get called to a field party where there's 300 drunk people, probably not going to wander there by myself.
Right.
Can I do it? Yeah, I could probably handle myself, but why risk it?
Yeah.
It ain't worth the risk. Get a couple more units there. Let's see if we can just run them off. All right, y'all take off. No driving. Get out of here. Know when to back off, when to push. So that's a big one. But let's say you've done everything. You've got your letter. You are going to the Dallas Police Academy, or you're going to the Tarrant County Sheriff's Office. Awesome. Or you're going to state police. Awesome. Whatever. Great. You need to start working out. If you already were, you need to kick it up a notch, because some departments will run you into the floor.
And if you weren't, be prepared to suck air for like at least a solid 2 months, where your body gets used to the rigorousness. Because it never fails. The PT test that you do is not the example of what you're going to be doing during the academy.
Oh, no.
Straight up, because a lot of like averagely fit people can pass the department PT test.
But we do CrossFit, and we're going to make you suffer. And you're like, but this isn't what, nah, we're going to make you suffer.
And suffer you will.
And suffer you will, but there's a reason for it. So you got some agencies like, I know a guy, I won't say the name of the agency, but it's a very large metropolitan agency. He said the whole first month, though, all they do is run every single day, trying to run people out. And the ones that stay after that, then they start training. Because they figured they probably got rid of the weenies in the first month when they ran 6-7 miles a day. Now, okay, you're still here? Okay, now let's train. Some agencies do that. Some agencies will. Before they start wasting their time on a 7-month academy, let's get rid of let's chop some of this dead wood now before they spend the money on you. And that's what it is.
A lot of it, just don't quit. It's all mental.
And it's mental. Look, your mind is stronger than your body. Your body quits long before your mind quits. Yep. Long before it. This will fail you every time. I'll tell you that right now. Running, the way I do it, I just shut my brain off. I just shut my brain off and run. Don't think about the next step. Don't think about there's another lap. Just shut my brain up and run. Next thing you know, you're done. Yep. That's why I hate circular tracks. I hate circular tracks. Always did, because 1, 2, 3. You give me one track that's 1.5 miles, and I will shave probably a minute off my time, because there's just something about that kind of track versus that 1/4 mile, 6 and around. You're like, oh my God, one more lap to go. And then you kind of kick in the afterburns on that last lap.
Sometimes you got to like, for me, I like to break it down. Like I'll pace like the first 3 laps, just some manageable pace. And then I know for like the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th, I got to step it up a higher degree.
Well, yeah, because by then you're
and then I break it up into sections.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah. But you're right.
And you're breaking the monotony.
It sucks. Like running a circular track.
Yeah. Because it's just demoralizing.
The first PT test I think I've ever took for a run.
3.
We ran at like a park, or like it was like down near like a body, like near a lake or whatever, or like a river. So it was nice. We ran to a pagoda. Once we reached the pagoda, you turn around and you just ran all the way back to the start point.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I had apartments next to me, had the freaking water, other people. Yep. It was pretty nice. It breaks up the monotony.
When I was in the service, the PT track over at the base, it was 1.5 miles. One circle was 1.5 miles, beginning to end.
It
was
crazy.
Great. I love that track. When they're like, "Hey, it's going to be at the 1/4 mile track," I'm like, "Oh, fuck me!" I always did better on that 1 lap track. Always, I always did better. There was more to see. You're just looking at the scenery as you're running. You turn your brain off and you run, and I loved it. I don't know how the Army does 3 miles. I think it's 3 miles. Or Marines do 3 miles or whatever. But holy shit, can you imagine 18 laps? I'm like, oh my God, I'm only at 12. Fuck me, Still got 1.5 miles. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, that sucks.
So you get an academy, right? All right, they're gonna give you a welcome to this agency letter. Here's what you need to have. Here's what we're gonna provide you. Here's where you need to be. What time? What date? Nothing says you have to go. How many times have you seen it where they just didn't show up the first day? Yeah. They just don't show.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, okay.
It's not like the military.
We're not going to lose our mind over it. Like, have a nice day. But now if you come bebopping in 2 hours late, you're going to have a very, very long week. If they haven't already shit-canned you,
yeah,
you're going to have a very long week. I will tell you that for detention, they will cut you. You're just gone. Just gone. Because they got 10,000 applicants. You're have a nice day. I can't believe that shit. Like, what? Oh, my alarm didn't go off. Really? I remember my first day. I was so excited. I woke up like 3 hours prior to my alarm. I was so excited.
I didn't sleep.
I was so excited.
I didn't sleep.
Now I'd be like, okay.
I showed up.
I know it's a 20-minute drive to the academy. I know that it takes me 10 minutes to have my coffee.
I showed up like literally just like so wired. Like I had
to be there at 8. I was there like 6 in the parking lot. Like, all excited.
I was outside the gate before anybody even got there.
Yeah.
And they were like, what are you here for? I'm like, I'm here for the academy. He was like, how long you been sitting here? Like 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I was so excited.
They thought it was the biggest weirdo
I
ever.
mean, now that wears off. Okay, and it's funny. It's right. It starts like this. You're excited, right? You're there, and then you're about halfway through. You're like, okay, you're on the. You're kind of gotten used to it, and then oh shit, we graduate tomorrow. Oh shit.
It's like,
and all of a sudden you're back there the day before graduation, 3 hours prior.
you can play a game for your instructor, like just somehow get into the classroom before anybody gets there and just sit in the dark. As soon as they come in, I've been waiting for you, sir or ma'am.
Yep. Yep. All right, so you show up that first day. You're going to get fucked with. It's a police academy.
Kind of military style, too.
I don't understand why people show up thinking we're going to be like, oh, nice to meet you and have a seat. No, we're going to be in your ass like drill sergeants. That's exactly, and most of our instructors are ex-drill sergeants, are going to be up your ass. Like I was a drill sergeant. I was up their ass because I'm putting pressure on you to see how you handle it. It is that simple. If you're going to handle that, you're going to have a real rough time in the streets.
A buddy of mine.
It's that simple.
He had an academy or whatever, and he said that 2 people showed up with Starbucks.
Oh, that was a mistake. Do not. Okay, now hear me now. Let me be gender specific for a minute. And for those that are listening, there's only 2 goddamn genders. All right, let's get that we're out of the way. Women, do not show up looking like a hoochie mama. Do not show up like that because the day you start the academy, your reputation starts there. You show up with your hair bunned professionally, light makeup, nothing fucking whorish. I hate to say it, but don't do it because it's not going to help you.
Anyway.
You're gonna sweat out anyway. That first day, mascara's gonna be running. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're gonna sweat. Nails should not be long.
You're gonna break them.
You're gonna break them, but we're gonna make sure you break them with all the fucking push-ups you're gonna make you do and break them goddamn nails off. You show up with fake lashes, we're gonna make you take them off. Show up looking professional. How would you want the cop to look that comes to your house? Would you want their hair bun back nice and tight, looking like they're ready to do business? Or do you want the hoochie mama who thinks she's going to be a cop?
Nobody wants you for cover if you look like that.
And nobody wants you for
cover.
cover.
How are you going to fight with nails like this long?
You can't even make a fist. You're trying to do this. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Males, very nice close haircut, fresh shave, trim the unibrow. Come on. Have your clothes pressed. Have your shoes cleaned. Have your nails cleaned and trimmed. Like, we are looking at that. Believe it or not, we're looking at that. And we're watching. And we're like, cops are trained observers. And we're watching like, if you thought that was acceptable on your first day at a professional police academy, that tells us your mindset. And you're already, I'm not saying we're going to get rid of you, but we're going to be watching. And don't think we don't think about it. And don't think we don't document it either, because we do document shit. You may not get to see it. We are documenting it. We're like, at the end of the day, we're like, oh, he said X, Y, Z, this little bastard. Okay. All of a sudden, a month left in the academy, you're getting called in by the sergeant going, you're free to go. Why? Because you did this and this and this and this and this, and you forgot all those. We didn't.
And even if you do, with all those mistakes, and
your reputation will follow you into field training. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's do it chronologically. You did the academy. They're gonna try to kill you physically, PT wise, not physically. They're gonna choke you out. Although you might get choked out in defensive tactics. Okay, you'll be fine. My goodness, you'll live. Maybe. I'm fine. Okay. You're going to do PT. You're going to get sweaty in defensive tactics. RBT, you're going to get shot at with simunition. You're going to get hit. It hurts. You learn to take fucking cover. That's the whole point. Take cover. Don't just stand there like a ding-dong. Take cover, because those paint bullets in the neck hurt like a bitch.
Heard the AR ones hurt worse.
And the AR hurt ones even worse. Defensive tactics, you're going to get bruised up. Handcuffing training, you're going to get bruised up. Baton training, you won't be able to move your arm for a week. Mm-hmm. You will get past it. You will survive it. The academy will end.
Yes.
So just get through it. Plus the academics. You're going to have writing. If you don't like writing, tough shit. Better start liking it. Because, yes, we will still make you handwrite in the academy. Once you get into FTO and on your own, you're going to type.
Yeah.
But in the academy, you're going to handwrite for a fucking reason.
And that sucks.
And it sucks, but they're going to make you do it for a reason. Just do it. Be a Nike. Just do it. Firearms. You don't like guns? Well, you better learn to love them. Defensive tactics. You don't like touching people? You better at least getting sweaty and rolling around on the mat. And they may be with a guy twice your size. Ladies, you may fight with the men. Yep. Oh, well, do you think you're only going to deal with women when you're a patrol officer as a female? You're going to deal with some very large, pissed off, drunk men that don't like being told no by a woman, and they just punched their woman, and now here you are going to arrest them for the same thing. You think that they care? In fact, they're probably hoping they can knock you across the living room too.
Yeah.
So you're going to fight with guys, and you're a girl. It's not sexual. It's physical, because you lose your life.
Yeah.
So, of course, they're going to push you that limit. We didn't do the, okay, short with short and fat with fat and women with women. We don't do that shit. Go fight the monster. You're like, Jesus Christ, that guy's like 6'5". Mm-hmm. Well, get him in the handcuffs. You're like, oh my God, this is going to suck. And it does. It does suck. But you did it. And you got through it. So, will you tap out and quit? Or will you fight until the buzzer? Backup's coming. You don't remember what we said in the academy years and years and years ago. You don't have to win the fight. You just can't lose the fight.
Yeah.
Because backup's coming. Hold on. Even if you got to be on his back holding on to him like this. Just hold on. We're coming. And then trust me, when we come through the door, the fight's on. There's going to be 6 of us ground stomping that dude into the floor because he dared to put his hands on you. Well, that was it. He dared to put his hands on you.
Yeah, that's pretty much
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. And we don't tolerate that shit. So, academy's rough. PT, writing, mental stress, physical stress. And then all of a sudden it's graduation day. And you got your class A's, you got your tie, you're getting your badge today, your wife might be pinning it on, your husband might be pinning it on, your kid might be pinning it on, and you think, I'm the man and I know everything. You know precisely dick.
Until you get that first call, and of course it's a family disturbance.
No.
And it may not even be violence. It's just husband, wife, domestic spouses, or whatever, just bickering. And your FTS says, go in there and handle it. Go in there and calm them down. Separate them.
Yeah.
You get in the middle of them. Who the fuck are you? And,
That's right. Who the fuck you to tell us how to run our marriage? They shove you back.
I called them. Hey, get the fuck out of here. Like, and it's just like,
Yep.
sir, with your notepad in hand, ma'am, please.
Yeah. What's your name and date of birth?
Your FTS sitting back there just like, handle
Okay,
it.
I
Handle it. Like,
have no problem telling my own embarrassing stories. So learn from my mistakes. I was a week into field training. This is a long time ago. Now I can tell the story and laugh. Because that FTO still works for this agency. So I know he's going to laugh his ass off. Because he remembers this. He still brings it up. He still brings it up a decade later. I'm like, yes, I remember that. Yes, I feel stupid. But I learned. It was domestic violence. I end up cuffing the dude. Didn't take his phone from him. Threw him in the fucking Tahoe. I'm the man. I made a DV arrest. Oh yeah, let's go book his ass. And then get back out and get another one. Radio calls me. Your AP is calling 911 from the back seat of your Tahoe. Well, that's fucking embarrassing. I yanked that door. Give me that fucking phone. That's the phone slams over the Tahoe. Thank you, I got it. Click, hung up. And my FTO is just like, why didn't you take the phone from the arrested person? So I got embarrassed greatly. And then we charged him for abuse of the 911 system. So we charged him for that too. He's like, well, charge him with that. Hell yeah, fuck him. He embarrassed me. Now they get nothing. Nope, everything. You're arrested, everything's going except your money.
yeah.
When I arrest people, I leave the money in their wallet. If I see money, I put it right back in their pocket. I tell them we'll count it downstairs or count it at the jail on camera. As soon as we get to the banking window, now we're going to count it right here on that camera overhead and my body camera right here, and then you're going to sign for that dollar amount. I don't care if it's a dime. 0.10. Sign it. It's still money and it's still tender.
Yep.
So you better count every fucking nickel. Do not leave a nickel off. Don't think people don't know what they got in their pockets. Count it all. I've arrested people with wads of cash. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. 20s, 25, okay, 12 20s. Motherfucker. You better get it right. If you got to count twice, count fucking twice. And then ask them on camera, do you agree with the dollar amount?
Yep.
That's $121. Do you agree? I agree. Okay, sign here. Now they can't take that back.
Yep.
But if you don't ask them, no, I had 150. Really? I stole, I got to do the math, 39 bucks, 29 bucks, whatever. Really? Yeah, so just be prepared for that. Always learn to cover your ass because no one else is going to cover your ass. Cover your ass for you.
Yep.
My very first day as a patrolman, the first 5 minutes out from the sub, shooting 4 hits. 4 people shot. I was like, holy shit. And my FTO goes, grab the radio, hit the lights, let's go. And I'm like, I get the radio, staring at it like, I don't know what to fucking do with this thing. And I put it in drive also, and he goes, let's go, people are dying. So I hate it. I didn't know where I was going. I never worked that part of town. I'd never even been to that part of town. There was no reason for me to ever be in that part of town. Now I'm a cop in that part of town. So I have no clue where I'm going. At least he had pity on me. Turn right here, turn left here. He knew the area.
Yeah.
And we pull up, and there's 4 people shot. And 3 are alive, 1's deceased. And I have no clue what to fucking do. I'm like, holy shit, what do I do? Like, military's different. You shot him. Okay, whatever. You know, I have no clue what to do as a cop. He just hands a clipboard and goes, figure it out. Who saw this? Yeah, right. Like anyone's going to raise their hand.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I saw it.
Like, fuck you, officer.
Yeah,
You go
yeah, basically,
walk down the street.
yeah. The whole 80 people standing around, no one saw shit.
Yeah.
You know.
They'll leave
and-
you a note saying, hey,
Yeah.
Mr. Policeman, we saw nothing.
Yeah, we didn't see nothing.
Left
And-
the citizens.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and this was the hood. This was the hood. Ain't nobody saw shit. Yeah, they all saw it. Ain't no one saw shit. They know exactly who did it. Ain't no one going to tell you. That's simple. Okay, even the mother of the victim ain't going to fucking tell you.
Oh, hell no.
You know, so now I can pull up and go, I need this, rope that, I'll do this because I had the experience. I learned. You learn by doing. You're going to make mistakes in training. You're going to make mistakes in field training. That's the time to make them. You have a senior officer with you who's going to keep you from stepping on your crank. He's going to train you. Ask questions while you're a rookie. That's the time.
I remember I made a traffic stop. It was in like field training. I remember I made a traffic stop. And I was on the wrong channel. I was on a whole different agency's channel.
That's fun.
And I was keying up.
Oh,
trying
yeah,
to,
you told me about this.
Trying to key up and like put out the traffic, and I was hearing no response. Well, that's because everybody's laughing at me like, "Who the fuck is this call sign?" And then finally, their dispatcher said, "You know, police agency, blah blah blah, call sign. Please return to your normal travel."
Please return to your traffic,
And
your
I'm
own
just
traffic
like,
channel. You're like,
and my FTO just looked at me. He's like, "Just get out the car and approach."
and your dispatch is wondering where the fuck you're at. They probably toned you out.
she just turned around and was like, "Hey, just get out the car and approach the driver." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. So, I will tell you right now, your first real oh shit moment is the first day that you're on your own.
Yep. And so,
Field training is over. You start, the way our agency works is the weeks go Saturday to Friday, right? The end of your field training on our agency will be on a Friday. And tomorrow, you are on your own.
Saturday.
And
Showtime.
you walk into roll call, you're so-and-so, you're so-and-so, get your keys, and you're like,
And you're going to be in probably one of the worst districts
oh,
they got.
they're going to throw you in the worst district with the crappiest vehicle. And, hey, welcome to patrol. And you're like, holy shit. Now it's you in that car. You're making the decisions, not a trainer. You're making the decisions. Now you're standing on your own 2 feet. No one going, I'd stop if I were you. You got to hope you have good trainers. Some agencies, FTO, field training differs. Our agency, 17 weeks. And you get 4, or you actually get 5 different trainers, honestly. You get 5. You work usually all 3 shifts and sometimes both sides of town. Mm-hmm. So you get a really good mixture of everything.
Yeah.
Some agencies, it's 6 months. DPS, it's 6 months. Field training is 6 months in DPS. And that's when your rookie year starts. When you finish field training is when your rookie year starts. I'm like, whoa. So 7 months in academy, 6 months field training, 13 months in, now your rookie year starts. You're like, holy shit. They play a different game. Some agencies it may be a month. Some agencies it could be 6 months. It just depends on your agency. LAPD, it's a year.
FTO? And
You get
that
a
makes
different
sense.
trainer every month for a year.
That makes sense,
It's called
'cause-
deployment periods. A 28-day deployment period. 12 of them.
I could just like, unless like, LAPD, shout out to them. I guess they still call it shooting Newton.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck all that. Like every road, every street you're going down, it's a different hood. You could be in the Menlos, go to the Hoovers,
Yep.
go for like the Nanos,
Mm-hmm.
8-trays. Man, fuck all that. Like, yeah, that's why FTO should be real long just for that aspect of it. One of the cities that founded original gangbanging.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just a whole different monster of calls all on its own. So yeah, shout out to LAPD.
Oh, yeah.
That's a badass agency. If I lived in Los Angeles, I would work there just to say that I worked there.
Yeah.
That's a badass agency. And leaving politics out of it, LAPD and NYPD really are really good agencies. NYPD is probably the most data-driven agency there is. Like when it comes to just law enforcement, period.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're phenomenal agencies, like irregardless of politics and whatever.
So, every FTO differs. Some agencies, you may have the same FTO the whole time. Mm-hmm. Some you may have a different one every week. Some may have a different one every 2 weeks. It's all different. It's whatever that agency wants. They have their own way of doing things. You're not going to come in there and tell them how they're going to do it. They're going to tell you how to do it.
Yeah.
So this is one thing we get like in the military. When I was a drill sergeant in the military, we used to tell the trainees, "You do it my way. You meet my standard. I don't lower the standard to you. You meet my standard by raising yourself up, and this is my way or the highway. That's it."
Yep.
In field training, it's going to be your trainer's way or the highway. It's that simple. That's why they're your trainer. You may not like your trainer. You may hate your trainer, but do whatever he or she tells you to do and just get past it.
Yep.
So the trick is you may have, say you got 5 different FTOs. Take the things you like from each training officer and make your own style. And then you have a mixture of all these different styles from, okay, I like the way he did that. I like the way she did that. And you put it all together and you got your own style. I like the way they handled this. I like the way they did this. I like the way they handled that. I like the way they handle this. And you'll develop your own style. And then you'll be a trainer one day. Before you know it, all of a sudden you're a field training officer 4 or 5 years later.
Yep.
Like, holy shit, this is me. And try to remember that when you do become training officers, they're scared. They're scared. They're not scared of getting hurt. They're not scared of getting shot. They're scared of screwing up. They're scared of looking stupid. They're scared of making a mistake. Okay, your job as a training officer is to help them through that, guide them. Don't bully them. There's a difference between bullying and training, and there is a difference. Okay, whatever you do, it should have a training purpose behind it.
Yeah.
I had a trainer do this to me one time. Working deep south, way country. It's country as hell. I had no clue where the fuck we're at. I'd never been down there. Again, I had no reason to be in this part of the county. He asked me, hey, he went like a quarter mile down from the intersection and said, what intersection was that? I've been shot. You better run back and find out, huh? He made me run all the way back to the street signs and then run all the way back to what the street signs were. After that, I started paying attention to the fucking street signs, and that's why he did it.
Yeah.
Pay attention when you pass the street signs. Know where the hell you're at. The block number if you can, but if not, the nearest intersection.
Yeah.
Because we'll look for you. We'll launch helicopters. We're coming. If you just say, hey, the last intersection I saw was this, at least it gives them a starting point to find what's left of you.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're not doing it to be dicks. They're not doing it to be assholes. They're doing it for training purposes. Now, if they're just like, hey, haha, I don't like you running that stop sign and back. No. That's you shouldn't be doing that these days. May every now and then you get a bully FTO. Yeah, you have a couple options. You can report it, but you just painted a giant bullseye on the back of your head, or you can just go, you know what? I got this guy for another 2 weeks, and then I don't have to fucking deal with his ass again as a trainee. I'll get somebody else. You got to make the decision. We can't tell you what to do. I know what I'd do. Just roll with it and get past it.
What you should not do is think you're going to tell somebody else what your FTO is doing and expecting that not to get back.
Oh, it'll come right back.
If you have issues, just like, T-Bone suggested, or tell it to a diary. Write it down.
Keep it to yourself, though,
Keep it
because
to
I tell you
yourself.
right now, the minute you finish telling that other guy what that guy did, he's on the phone. Hey, man, what the fuck's up with your trainee? What the fuck? Why is he over here fucking bitching about you?
And they'll sit there and listen to it. They'll play it. They'll play the role real smooth.
Oh, yeah, like,
You'll
oh,
think,
yeah,
oh,
he's a dick. He does this. Oh, yeah, dude, I totally get you.
Like, man,
Hey, bro, what the fuck's up with your trainee?
they really understand over here. It's just a guy that's been working in the department for 10
He
years,
just sucked
man.
you in and blew you away.
He listens to all my problems. I really hope I meet another one just like him.
Oh, you're gonna.
And then the next day you're in the car with your FTO, it's oddly quiet.
Yep, because the other guy, he got on the phone and said, what the fuck's up with your trainee? Why is he a fucking rat snitch? What the fuck's his problem? Yeah, don't think that don't happen. Absolutely. I'll tell you right now, all the trainers talk. All the senior officers talk. Because you get senior officers that don't want to be trainers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be I don't want someone in my car.
And they may have to sub in for a day or two.
But they sub in, and you're going to see some salty old dogs there and be like, sit there and don't say a fucking word. Like, goddamn, like, don't touch shit. You're just sitting like this and you're in the top of the hole. Hey, when are we eating? Shut the fuck up. Just go with it. Okay. If you can't just take that abuse, and it's not even abuse, but if you can't take that, you're not going to take a citizen in your face, screaming at you, calling you names. You're just not going to. So just truck on. The rewards are there. We are trying to make it as difficult as possible on purpose.
Yeah.
Because when you're done, you did it. Now we trust you with a police car and the keys and a gun and say you have the authority of your badge and the authority of the law. Go out and handle business. It is now you. They've given you that responsibility. And they treated you like crap and trained you and beat you to get you to that point to where they mold you into what you need to be to function on your own. That's all they're doing. It is not personal unless you make it personal.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna be a problem, and every FTO is gonna know who you are, and every single officer is gonna know who the hell you are within about a week. They're all gonna know, and they're all gonna compare notes. And I'll tell you right now, if you think they're not talking about you, they're absolutely talking about you. They compare notes.
Yeah.
Oh, this dude's a fucking turd, or
And it's
dude,
going
this,
to be in your file anyway.
yeah, and they're
FTO
gonna write it
folder.
down. They're
Yeah,
gonna
so-
write it down.
And there's going to be an FTO folder. As you'll do every phase, every little thing that you think, oh, I may have gotten by.
Probably not.
didn't.
And he
And
wrote it
it's
down.
Probably going to be noted in the file.
Yep.
And
And-
usually, if it's going, like if the program is pretty structured, your FTO is going to go over with you maybe every day, or maybe it's like a end of week, after action report, as far as like what you've done over the whole week, and list out your deficiencies and what you did really really well at, and
What kind of calls you handled?
And
What
things
was the
that-
outcome
right.
of the call? What could you work on?
Yep. And hey, it'll all come out right there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to the supervisor that oversees an FTO
Yes,
program.
because it's not the slick sleeves that run that program. It's typically going to be a sergeant that's in charge on that shift that runs that FTO program for that shift.
Yep.
And ultimately, it's going to be the academy they're reporting to, because you still belong to the academy until you finish FTO, and then you belong to your patrol shift. Now, that is not every agency, but that's a majority of them that do it that way. You belong to the academy because they trained you and they stuck you there. So if you're failing, they're going to call the academy and go, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?"
And some places do have a remedial.
Some
They
do,
may
and
put
some
you through
just
a
like,
remedial.
"Have a nice
'cause
day."
sometimes maybe it takes longer for someone to finally get it. And then hey, that's fine. That's just the reality for some officers. Some officers who they probably really didn't think, oh man, this person or this gal may not really make it, and go do a remedial, and they're one of the shining stars.
Yeah.
And then you got like a versus a person who comes in at the very beginning, shining star, but his or her lights fades just throughout the years, and now you just see this downward progression.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to be 3 strikes you're out. Some places do have a remedial, and that's a question to ask in the beginning when you're finding out the information about the department. Hey, do you have a remedial training program at FTO just in case if I need a longer adjustment period? And they'll
Yeah,
either
you
tell
can
right
ask
there,
that.
yes or
I don't
no.
recommend asking that, but you can ask
mean,
that. But
A fair question. I don't know.
it's a fair question if you're a civilian coming in, don't know any better. If you're coming from another agency, I probably wouldn't ask
Yeah,
that
don't ask
question.
that if you come from another
They'd be
agency.
like-
You already know.
Really? You know how this job works. So, you finished FTO. They blessed you. We think this person has enough to be able to get it done for the most part. Are you going to have questions still? Yes. You're not going to get exposed to everything in the 16, 17, 18 weeks. You're just not. You hopefully, if you had a good trainer, he made you take every shit call there was, every crap call, suicides, homicides, every crash, every domestic, every piece of crap peddly burglary that you do not want to fucking do, because there's going to come a time where you are on your own and you're going to come across something you haven't done yet, and hopefully you'll be able to figure it out. But don't feel like you can't ask questions. You're a rookie. That is the time. Every FTO I had told me, "You ever got questions? Call me." After I was done on my own, call me. And I would call them. "Hey, I got a good question." "Oh yeah, I do this and this and this and this." Because I'd proven myself that I didn't run to them immediately. But if a genuine question and assumption is the mother of all fuck ups, and I assume wrong and fuck it up bad, I can't go back and go, why didn't you go? The first question I'm going to ask is, why didn't you call somebody? Second question is, why didn't you call the sergeant?
Yeah.
Those would be the 2 questions they ask you. And then you're like, why do I look like a rookie? You are a rookie.
Yeah.
So use that I'm new status as long as you can fucking get away with it. Because at 10 years, you can't say,
I'm a rookie.
I'm new. Yeah, you're not going to get away with that. Okay, I've got almost a decade and a half now. I can't use that. I'm like, shit, I should have asked that question 15 fucking years ago. Great. Now I just have to pretend I knew the answer the whole time and just like, hey man, quick question. Do you know why? And they go, you don't know that? Shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up. It is what it is. Cops are the biggest assholes you're ever going to meet to each other.
Yeah.
We eat each other more than the public eats us. We eat each other. We eat our own faster than the public ever does. You just don't hear about it. But we do. We eat our own to death. So now you're on your own. Some agencies, you're ready. It might be the end of that year is your rookie year. It might start your rookie year. Might actually start when you finish field training. Every agency's different. And then you come off field training and you come off probation. You are now truly a collective bargaining agreement covered hire. You passed your rookie year. Don't fuck up because it can go away that fast. It's just easier to fire you when you're on probation because they don't need a reason to fire you. They just shit can you.
Yeah.
Once you're through that rookie year, they need a little more now to fire you because now you're covered by collective bargaining and civil service. So We want to do this today because we get questions. How do I become a cop? What's it like? What do you learn? What do you need to do? This and that. Biggest piece of first advice I'm going to give you. Do not lie. Period. What you think is a big deal to the background investigators is not a big deal. And they don't give a shit. You're like, oh my God, I got to put down that when I was 14, I punched a kid in the face. We're like, okay. And what happened? I got a day suspension. Cool. Okay, whatever. That will literally be the end of the conversation. We know when you're lying. We can tell when you're lying. And we're going to go, okay, what is he lying about?
Yep.
So, best piece of advice. You're filling out your personal history statement. Do not lie. And a lie of omission is a lie.
And we find it. Not putting it down.
Yeah, not putting it down. Not telling it. Not saying it. When we find out, we come back and go, hey, you got busted. We found a cop that said he talked to you because you got ran. And we called that cop and said, why the hell did you? Oh, yeah, we detained him for XYZ. Well, that's funny because the question here, have you ever been detained by any law enforcement officer in the United States?
And they'll say detained, questioned,
Detained,
investigated.
questioned, held, talked to. They all mean the same shit. Because we have a system called Index. And we put your name and your date and your social security and all that shit in there. And we hit enter. And every contact you've ever had law enforcement is in that fucking system from the entire country. And all of a sudden you're going, oh, I didn't think you'd find out about that. Yeah. Because they call that agency and go, why'd you talk to this dude? They'll find that officer, if he's still an officer, and ask, hey, why'd you talk to this dude? Oh, yeah, I detained him. He was doing XYZ. I just didn't have enough to arrest him. Didn't have enough to really do an offense, so I just kind of let it go. But, yeah, he was a suspect. Oh, really? You didn't put that down? So, I'm going to tell people this. What you think is a big deal is not a big deal. Obviously, murder is a big deal. Sexual assault is a big deal. Aggravated robbery is a big deal. Dealing narcotics is a big deal. I'm talking about the little stupid shit that you think in your head is a big giant deal. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah, like high school fight.
We don't care. Just tell us what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What happened? Did you win? Okay, that's what I want to see. You won. Oh, you lost. Maybe we don't have room for you in this agency. That guy over there won. And I'm being facetious. But the point is, just tell the truth. Answer the questions and let the chips fall where they fall. And one more pro tip before we start closing this out. If you already did a PHS for another agency and they didn't take you, every agency you try to hire is going to ask, have you applied to other law enforcement agencies before? And what they're going to do is they're going to call that agency, can we get a copy of that? And they're going to send it right over. They're going to scan it in and email it right over. He put down in this PHS, he did XYZ, but when we asked that question, he said no. Huh. Now you just became the next agency that's not hiring you.
Yep.
So here's a good pro tip. Keep your PHSs. Just keep them. If you say you want to move to another agency, it's a bigger agency, better
Pay,
better pay, better benefits, better opportunities. When they give you your PHS, it's going to pretty damn near similar to the old one from that agency. Copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. You'll have that bitch back in 2 days with all your shit, and they're going to be like, holy shit, he really wants to be here. I'll tell you right now, the faster you turn that in with all your shit, it looks good. Like you have that, they're like, he's motivated, he wants to be here. Not, I took the entire 60 days. Day 60, here you go. Really? And then they black ink, blue ink, scribbles. Fuck this dude. I don't want this guy. So pro tip, keep your PHSs. Always answer every question on every PHS you've ever had. Make copies of your PHS. Before you turn in the PHS you're going to turn in, make copies of the completed PHS and keep it. Keep it. Trust me, it will come back later to help you.
Yep.
Big time. Trust me on this. Just don't ask why. Just say, T-Bone, we got it. So, we wanted to talk about that today because we get those questions all the time. How do you become a cop? What's it like? XYZ. I can only speak for me. J-Man can only speak for himself. We've had a lot of similar experiences. We've also had divergent experiences. I was traffic. I was gangs. I was highway narcs. I'm a detective. He's done traffic. He's done civil. He's done patrol. But we're all still cops. So there's nothing he can do that I can't, and vice versa. Everything I can do, he can do. We're cops. We have a niche. I have my niche. He has his niche. But a cop, or like a patrolman especially, is a well-rounded master of everything.
Yep.
He can do civil, criminal, he can do marriage counseling, he can do psychiatry, he can do mental health, he can do, you name it. That's your job as a patrolman. You are everything. Because people pick up the phone and don't know who to call. The first call is 911.
Yeah.
And I have to listen to these 911 calls all the fucking time. And I'm trying to find a 911 call. Let's say I have to download a 911 call for a case I'm, submitting. But I'm trying to find it, so I got to listen to all these other calls. Yes, I had an infestation of crickets in my backyard. I didn't know who to call. The fuck you call 911 for? And the dispatchers, bless their heart. Okay, sir. Well, you can call an exterminator. you know. Well, yeah, but they charge. Okay, you're gonna get shit like that, and you're gonna get shit like that as a patrolman. They may send you over there to that house to welfare check that man and make sure he's okay. Because what
Yeah,
if
oh,
he's
yeah, yeah.
what if he's got dementia? What if he is some 90-year-old man living by himself who's got dementia,
Or he's hallucinating.
or he's hallucinating, and now you may actually save his life because you went over there.
Yeah.
So you have to take that shit seriously. It's funny at times once you realize what it is. Somebody just, I'm sorry, I didn't know who to call. All right, have a good day. Could be genuinely an elderly man or elderly woman that is having dementia, and you actually got to him and you're getting him help. You get an APS on the line, get him help. You saved a life. So take that seriously, though. Don't poo-poo it. Make contact and knock on that damn door. Okay?
Right.
If you got to look in the windows to make sure there ain't a body laying on the floor, look at the damn windows. Welfare don't have privacy. Make damn sure. So that's my little soapbox. I'm not going to keep going. This is a good episode.
Yeah.
So that's my little spiel on it. Just shit I've seen, learned, been through myself, watched other people go through it, cadets, probies, rookies, whatever you want to call them, new guys, dumbasses, whatever. We all have our dumbass moments. I know I have mine as a rookie. I did seriously dumb shit. I totaled a Tahoe 2 weeks for the end of my rookie year. I totaled a Tahoe, and I was like, I'm fucking fired. Do you know why I wasn't?
Because you were honest about it?
I was honest about it. I called Sergeant and said, this was my fault. Straight up, 100% my fault. Could I blame that woman? I sure could have, and I could have got away with it because who's going to say shit?
Right.
It was my fault. And you never know who's watching you.
Yep.
You never know who saw that.
Yep.
Because, hey, captain might have been off duty right across the street and go, oh, I saw that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there telling the sergeant, no, it was her fault. And here comes the captain. No, he pulled out in front of her.
Yeah.
You've lost all credit. If you're not fired, you're losing all credibility you got. In this case, no one had a way to prove that it wasn't my fault. But I knew it was my fault, and Sarge, it was my fault. I never heard a word about that crash. Not a word. She sued me for she sued the agency for the value of her piece of crap 98 Toyota. And that was the end of it. We paid out the $3,500 or whatever, and that was the end of it. Mm-hmm. Never heard a word about it, but I guarantee if I'd have lied, it'd have been a whole different story.
Yep.
Whole different story. I'd have lost all credibility to that sergeant. I might have gotten suspension or fired because I was still probationary year. So I might have just said, you know what? Cut this fucker loose. Mm-hmm. Because they'd rather a fuck up who tells the truth than the perfect guy who lies.
Yeah.
I can deal with the fuck up who tells me the truth because I can still go, what happened? I fucked up. All right, what did we learn? Don't do it again. Versus, I had to find out the hard way you fucking lied because a citizen caught it on camera. You lied on the report and the truth come out. And I'm having to clean up your mess as a detective now.
Yeah.
Oh, great, thanks. You just fucked this case. Appreciate that. And now I got to call the prosecutor and go, we may not be able to prosecute this case because he lied. Even though, and now there's a victim not getting justice because you fucked up.
Yeah.
So if you fuck up, just tell people you fucked up. We know you fucked up. J-Man, do we know you fuck up?
No, yeah.
We know. Because we all did it.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, let's see how they handle it.
Yeah.
Now we're going to see how you handle it. Do you handle it with grace, humility? Do you joke about yourself? I fucked up. I'm a dumbass. Okay, we know that. High five you, move on. If we're fucking with you, we like you. If we don't fuck with you, we don't like you. So bear that in mind. If we don't fuck with you, we don't like you, we don't want any part of you. We're like, nah, fuck this dude. Just get him off the shit as fast as you can. Get him onto swings or third. Get him the fuck away from me. Mm-hmm. If we like you, we're going to pick on you. That's just how guys are. Military's the same way. So none of this should come as a shock to veterans. It should be right at home. Like, yeah, you bald-headed bastards. Fuck you, short-dicked prick. Ah, that's funny. No one's going to take offense at it. If they don't talk to you, they morning. You might not be liked. If you're wondering who the asshole in the shift is, it might be you. I know it was me. But I also had the balls to back my shit up, too. So that was kind of the difference. I did my job, and that's kind of the big difference. You do your job. So, J-Man, you got anything to add on this topic?
No, I think we covered a whole lot.
I think we covered it good. Listeners, email us, runnincode2023 at gmail.com, RUNNINCODE 2023 at gmail.com if you have questions. Or please feel free to comment on the YouTube videos. We'll answer them. I've answered them so far. Everyone that's texted or messaged, I've answered, except the stupid ones that were just racist, and I just deleted them because I'm not here for that.
They're always going to be there.
Yeah, that's always going to be there, but I'm not here for that. It ain't funny, and I want the funny. Genuine question, let us, if we fucked up somewhere, tell us. We're not above telling you, hey, we screwed this up, got bad info. Okay. Fine. I learn something new every damn day.
Yep.
So, unless you have anything else to add, J-Man, we're going to close this out.
Nope.
Well, brothers, sisters, take good care of each other. Take good care of yourselves. Remember, you only got one life to live. And take every call like it could be the end of your life if you don't do it right.
Yep.
Citizens, we hope you enjoyed these shows. We hope it opened your eyes a little bit. And if anybody ends up getting recruited in law enforcement because of these videos, hey, we'd love to know about it. Like, hey, I listened to your show and I decided I wanted to do it. And now I'm halfway through the Dallas Police Academy or whatever. We'd love to hear that.
If you say you're halfway through, like anywhere else too, like NYPD. Or
Well, just let
whatever,
us know.
Let us know.
We
that's
wanted to
pretty
invite.
cool.
We wanted to invite to your graduation. T-Bone and J-Man needs to be there and get a shout out at your graduation from NYPD. Absolutely, we'll be there right there.
And I like New York too. I've been there a
I
bunch of times.
don't like New York, but I'll go.
Take it
I'll
right
go.
to-
I'll go.
you
with
right to
J-Man.
Queens.
No, I'm
I'ma
good.
be
I'm
right at
good.
home.
I'll stop in Long Island. You're good. Maybe Manhattan. I am not going into Brooklyn. I'm not going into Harlem, and I'm damn sure not going to Queens. Long Island or Manhattan. Those are good right there. And the far eastern end of Long Island too. The Gold Coast. So from J-Man and I here in South Texas at Run and Code, wish everybody have a great week. Thank you for joining us this week. Questions, comments, concerns, write us, and everybody be safe. J-Man,
Same.
we're out of here.